Plotting route.
So I'm going to finish this up. This should be the last part of the Hex story. I reached Light, and now I should be able to complete the rest of the story. Should be able to. Not even sure if, even if I did, it would be the completion of the story.
We're not gonna make it!
What's he talking about, Marty?
I told you this was a setup!
I can't.
Okay, so this should be the completion of this. Yeah, I don't need to pursue this further. Yeah, it's only gonna last about 15 minutes, so it's a little completion of the story, so I doubt you'll be doing any serious combat. It's more like completing story arcs. I was just watching while I was doing trade, because today was the client trade and everything. I completely forgot that Gundam X was a thing, so I don't know. I was checking out the new Gundam that just released, and then I went back to look at the history of the different Gundams, and I completely forgot that I used to watch Gundam X. Like, no wonder every time like I bring up a situation of rescuing someone or getting sound advice or anything with relations to, saving the day or getting insight or wisdom, I always go to Tifa Adil. But like, why do I always use that name, Tifa Adil? Oh, because she's from the Gundam. It's like, but I never remember what Gundam she was from, and she was from Gundam X. It's like it's such a blur of the amount of Gundams I've seen from a long time ago. But I could never forget her name. It's a very distinct name. That's why I always. I mean, Nina Purpleton is great and everything, but for some reason Tifa Adil is just more appealing to me. She was a better character than Nina Purpleton, in my opinion. So. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Is this some kind of bug or something? Oh no, it's not a bug. Okay, thought it was a bug.
Making sure that you are still you.
I'm only here to help.
I'm here.
What's up with that shit? That's some strange ass shit. I thought Eleanor and Letitia never liked each other. At least that's how the whole social media thing was going. The whole like system. It's weird.
Area secure. Godspeed, Amir.
don't see any more murmur. Hold off the murmur, but I don't see any more. Oh, there they are. Hiding behind a wall. How do I get to that wall? I hope they're not stuck in the wall.
get out of here, Arthur. Both of us. Okay?
So I like where the lore is going.
The only way it ever does. With others. Carry this power with mercy, Tenno.
Okay, so I like where the lore is going. I like everything they did about the lore. I like everything about what's going on. But I mean, it's not the best update, but the lore is better than the update in association with the new war. Because the new war was just an event and actions that are happening and stories that are happening. But the lore here is better than the lore of the new war. Whereas the new war is just a good story with lore. Here, the lore is better than the story itself, because the lore makes you question everything that ever existed in Warframe from the beginning, as in the void. What is the void? What is it responsible for? Where did it come from? Is it just a void of energy that could allow space-time travel? Or is it the afterlife? Or is it a plane of existence? A plane of existence that is like an upside down world in comparison to ours? Or is it just a thing that could duplicate things endlessly? The closest one that makes me believe is more rational is the one that they offered to us, which makes a lot of sense through the social media stuff of Hollvania. Through the whole networking with the Hex. One of the members was saying, I believe it could have been Arthur or Letitia or Eleanor, not exactly sure, but she was stating something about the void being a plane of existence. It could have been the sniper guy. The void being a plane of existence, that's the spirit realm. The astral plane, like the void being the astral plane, where dead things and dead bodies or dead creatures with association with regards to their soul go as a place of rest, because the after plane or the after world or the astral plane is a place where people can live forever and exist there forever and create whatever world they want there, in their own existence. So even though it's like a sea of energy as vast as the cosmos itself, like waves of energy, each spark within that world, or each cloud or element or atoms within that world, represents a vast amount of space or pressure, so that even if something does exist there, it would probably not understand anything else that's around it, because it's living its best life in its own reality, in its own bubble. maybe is aware that there are other things, and it is aware that it's in the astral plane and is satisfied to create a vast array of distance and space within its own existence. Maybe there is no limitation to the void, and maybe the void isn't a place of where energy, unspeakable energy, in order to energize and make new weaponry and stuff comes from. It's just spirit energy, and maybe it has nothing to do with spirit energy whatsoever at all. Maybe it's just a breach, a type of energy breach that could transition between both dead and the living. Both get to a place where spirits exist and where physical form exists, but it's not actually a place. It's just a type of energy that you can use to transition between one or the other. Either is good to me. If it's the astral plane, it's good. If it's an energy that is its own thing that can transition from different realms to different realms, and one of those realms could be a spirit realm, then that's also good, because it's not tied down to being just one thing. It's a specific type of energy, kind of like adamantium is a specific type of metal that's rare and in of itself its own thing. There are other types of metal in association, but of all the different type of metals that are fused in with adamantium, is the one that stands out to be the most durable amongst the other types of metal compressed within it. Kind of like the whole thing that's going on with Marvel. There are many different metals, but the ones that's most prominent and dominant and the strongest is the adamantium, something like that. That's probably what's going on here. Maybe the void is just the most used energy with regards to maintaining everything in the universe, and the void itself is like an oil well that's located at different vicinities throughout the universe. It's not one place, it's many places, but those many places are spread vastly across the universe, and they only pop up here, there, and so some places. They don't pop up everywhere. So yeah, I'm really liking the whole idea of spirit realm and stuff, or possibly transitional energy. It makes sense how the Tenno can inhabit the bodies of other people, yet still not be there physically. Their body's not physically in that person. It's just their physical energy is in that person or robot or thing in order to puppet it. So that would make sense. So it makes me ask the question, if the Tenno saved them from being killed while they were about to be absorbed, where did he save them to? Because the original world was about to collapse. So he saved them and saved their location, their place. So maybe he didn't save the entire place. He just saved their area. So who knows? But I like it. I like it. Because that's how you would... See, this is a good ending. This is a good finale. I mean, the best type of finales in games are the ones that are satisfying. And there's no better satisfying finale than a game you ending it with friends and pizza. I mean, even if there wasn't friends around, if it was just him holding pizza, you know, pizza and beer or something, like, hey man, that's a good ending right there. But the story wasn't the best, but the lore and what was going on with the whole hex thing and conversation in regards to things that you didn't know, things that you didn't know in the past, to things that happen in the present, to what might come in the future, were all explained in this 1999 story in text format, not so much in story animation, in the lore itself. And another thing I've always found weird about Warframe is like they always subvert expectations, but they always have this weird way of doing it. Like to this day, I still don't understand what the hell is that giant man. I mean, I know what it is, but why a giant marble-looking man to be the transitional point to get into the Hex world? By you inhabiting the body of a giant size marble man, which is a transition point to take you into that dimension, into that world. And then after you finish the events of meeting those people in that world, you go back into the giant size marble man, which you then take control of, and then you speak to Lloyd or give him the hand signs that you accomplish your mission. But like, he couldn't have just come back. He has to possess the giant marble man, which I still don't know what the hell that's about, because it's not really Entradi, or maybe it is. They're supposed to be, I believe it might actually be Entradi's gigantic body, which I still don't know why. But yeah, a giant mannequin body. Yeah, Warframe is weird, I'll tell you that. So next thing you know, they'll be having babies transforming into giant sized lizards and stuff. Who knows? Some weird shit going on. I think the weirdness in Warframe really started to kick off after the new war. Actually, no. I think the weirdness really started to kick off. No, I think I'm right. I think the logic and the strangeness of Warframe was always there, but it really started to become more prevalent after the new war. Like, they started to really explore some real strange shit after the new war. Like, the War Within was awesome, but it was kind of stationed with regards to the world itself and what Tennos are and what Warframes are and what the lore of the Entradi are and what the lore of the Orokin are and the Corpus and the Grineer. But then they started to go like really deep. They started to experiment with ideas associated with the Void, which brought about the Murmur, and the idea of past warriors who used to be part of Orokin, then turned into Cephalons. And then they went from that, they went into Glass. And then after Glass, well, that Glass was before New War, but then they got deeper into Glass and the rest of the other Corpus people as well. And then they went even deeper with the Queens and their story during the New War, and some may say even after. And then they went real deep with regards to the Warframes, as in where they came from with regards to what was happening in the New War. So basically what I'm saying, from the new war moving forward, things started to really get strange and real weird, because the new war introduced telling you exactly how Warframes came into being and what technology turned them into what they are. And that stuff was there before New War, but it was in lore, where the New War explained some of it in story. And then it went deep with the whole man in the wall and where he came from. And then you end up getting sucked into another world with Deviri. But they didn't end with Deviri, because Deviri wasn't simply about a different world, a dimension. The Void created a world through the Warframes and the world of the Origin system to mimic that of the Tenno, or what the Tennos were doing. And eventually that world started to have its own consciousness and reality and control, but it was stationed and subject to its own rules that you could not change or manipulate in the Origin system. It can only be changed and manipulated in their own world. And then after, when the Tenno come to realize what the world he was in was part of his own creation, he then fixed that world somewhat, and then things became even progressively different, because the moment he fixed that world, or she fixed that world, or they fixed that world, the Tennos, eventually the Man of the Wall, in association with Dominus Trax and Entradi and the rest of everything, whatever the force of the Man of the Wall is, decided to either abandon ship of the Vuri or found a different scapegoat or a different avenue to search into, because the Void seems to be a place that's vast and have a vast untapped oil well that it could reach into different section of different dimensions. And one of them it reached into was the 1999 world, kind of like an alternate reality of the one that we're in, but the people there are more people and real than robots. The lore also explained the fact that what happens in certain worlds could possibly, their worlds being destroyed, could possibly be the thing that leads Warframes into being what they are. For instance, Nyx, Trinity, Author. If the Tenno wasn't there to save them, let's say there are different worlds of different variations of them. Some are worlds where animals, but they're all Trinity, Nyx, and kind of a different type of different species as well. Let's say in a world, someone is a cook type of powers, have powers like like Gon or something from Hunter x Hunter, or powers of Killua from Hunter x Hunter. And then all of a sudden their world gets destroyed by this entity called Man in the Wall, and it consumes all of them and destroy their world. Or let's say Gundam world. The Gundam world gets destroyed by whatever the Man in the Wall is, or the Void is, and whatever was there gets consumed by that power, by that Void. So whatever gets consumed by that Void gets turned into like black ooze, from what I could tell. And that black ooze is very much akin to the Technorot itself, which is associated with, it's strangely, with the Helmite system. And the Helmite system, you use that to create, in association with the Corpus and the Orokin, from which they got the information from the Void, which is, the Void gets the information from the worlds it consumes, mapped into Orokin and Corpus Tech to create Warframes. So it's like they're taking, the Orokin went into the Void, they take the information of the Void, that the Void gave them all this rot that they found, or this mass, or this element, or this compound that they found within the Void, calculated and I would say experimented on it and see how it works in association with mechanical compounds or organic compounds. And one of those organic compounds happened to turn into infested, and the others kind of turn into sentience. So it's like the lore of Warframe is slowly but surely fleshing itself out and informing you exactly what's going on. The Rokin didn't just go into the void to get information and resources in order to create special weapons and to create warframes and kuvas and stuff like that. It was knowledge based on the type of compounds they found or the type of energy the void had, and that energy is probably what ate away at the world of what Warframe 1999 in association with Man in the Wall, and Ballast and the others, Rokin, probably got this information and they end up developing maybe variants of that type of Technorod or variants of the void energy which caused this world 1999 to be destroyed, and they used such energy, and that energy turned into the same black ooze that destroyed the Warframe 1999 world, turns into Helmite ooze or infested ooze, using the Helmite system, for which consumes the people that is around and turn them into Warframes. So whatever was happening in the story of Warframe 1999 with regards to Arthur and the rest of them is due to what's going on with the void. So the void is pretty much, if misused in a bad way, I believe by the Man in the Wall, it consumes people and it keeps them in the liquid form, and then it transitions them onto compounds, whether they're organic, inorganic, or metallic, or transitionals. In this case, in the origin system, that compound were used to create warframes, and in the Warframe 99 world, that compound corrupted things and turned them into technorods, and eventually it would have consumed everything, including the technorod itself, turn it into black ooze, kind of like what Ballast did to Teshin Dax, or not Teshin Dax, but Teshin, and turned him into a warframe, the Warframe Excalibur. How he turned all the black ooze, turned him into the Warframe Excalibur. So what happens with the Warframe 99 story, or what was happening with characters in the Warframe 99 story, that they were turning into black ooze, is the same thing that happened to Umbra Excalibur when Ballast was using it to turn him into a warframe. But here, they weren't being turned into warframes, they were just being consumed by it. So it seems to be the same type of energy or something similar to it is going on. So slowly but surely, you are getting to see even more of what the hell is going on in the Warframe world. So we know where the Warframes they come from. We know where the Tenos they come from. We know about the origin system. We know about the compounds to create them. But we didn't know exactly where they got the compound from, or the information to create the compound from. Now we know where, but we kind of knew where, void, but it was never explained how it did what it does, how it turns them, how it turned people into what they are, and how that originally came about. And it was explained here. That's how it came about. It's not simply a resource that just turned because the Orokin created. It's probably something that existed way before the Orokin created it, and they just fashioned it using the Helmite system. That's all. But now we got more information with regards to this. More answers to questions. And lots more questions. At least now I know. I have a great idea of exactly what the hell is going on. So if anyone wants to know exactly how Warframes came into being, it's no longer simply about the Urukan creating them using the Helmite system that turned them into. It's now more complicated than that. Because it seems to be an association with the Void and what was just fleshed out in Warframe 99 story. So that's it for this. I wanted to make a quick video with regards to me completing this, and I just did. And now you know exactly as much as I do. What is a Warframe? Warframe is exactly what it's described as. A frame of a person that used to exist. Used for war. How did it came to be? Because some greedy assholes, corporate assholes, used energy of an untapped well in an unstable place, from an unstable place, in order to see how it would work, in order to make themselves gods amongst people. And then they decide to experiment even further, and then their own experiments turned on them in one way or the other. One became infested, the other became sentient beings. And then a war happened. And then they beat those enemies of both infested and sentience, but they had a lot of losses. And so they turned towards the Void again, the very thing that caused their problems, in order to solve their problems. And then they solved it again. But the very thing that they used to solve their problems, and that seeing that they're actually evil people, which they always were from the beginning, and their very problem solvers turned on them, killed them, and got rid of them, destroyed every last one of them. And those that ran, scattered throughout the galaxies, were eventually hunted down by the very creations. Because Warframe don't sleep, they don't eat, they don't need to pray, they don't need to believe in anything, and they're more intelligent than their masters because they learn at a vast speed. Eventually Urukan were all killed, thousands of years passed. Now things are going back. We're then going back into the Void. The Void then transitioned people and turned people into Devuri. The Devuris got solved, but then the mystery of the Man in the Wall gets revealed, that he was probably been there the whole time, way before the old war, probably way before the new war and the old war. And we're slowly but surely getting to know who he is. Because Warframe is never a story about something that's as simple as a story. Their stories are long as shit. It's like me playing a D&D campaign. What the fuck? We're like, I'm just getting clarity here. Just getting clarity here. The story is finally over. And I'm just getting clarity here. Just getting clarity. So the Void is now not only the Void. The Void is a place that could be the spirit world. Or the energy that transitions between physical world and spirit world. And the Urukan decided that they're going to tap into that. So, yep. That's pretty much the end. Yeah. Lots of answers. Lots of questions. More to come. But now I know. When you first play this game, it's simply a combat game. And you get to learn the stories. But then said stories become lores. And lores grow and become vast stories. And those vast stories are eventually split into sections, and eventually you get to understand the world that you're in. And then when you get to the end, you get to realize there's still lots more that hasn't been answered. So it feels like you're playing a long ass D&D campaign that has no ending. But it is going to end at a certain period. And how I know it's going to end, because eventually when we really get to find out the man in the wall's true identity and true purpose in life, and where he came from, and what created him, and how he came to be, that will be the end of the Warframe story. And then we could move on to a new story, because everything in association with the void is what Warframe is about. So once we're finished with the void, the end of the void and the void story and everything associated with the void, once that is done, then we can move on to new avenues. So once the man in the wall is done and the void is done, that will be the end of the Warframe story. And now Warframe will be able to evolve into something new once that story is over. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the man in the wall story to come to an end. That's all. And that's the end of this video. They said it was 15 minutes to complete the story. It really isn't. It's more like, if you think about it, it felt more like 25 minutes. If you rush it and you skip, but no, even if you try to skip certain things, it felt more like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Because you had a mirror thing, you had the mag thing or IO thing, and then you had the sniper part, then you had the Trinity part, then you had the Excalibur part, and with Arthur, and then you had the Eleanor part, and yeah, and then you had to run around and kill a bunch of a murmur within the ship, within the Zarimon, which, even though the story and the animation in the story was 15 minutes, they didn't count for you running around in the ship killing murmur enemies. And that could be 5 minutes, 1 minute per each character you had to run around. So it was more like 20 or 25 minutes rather than 15. So that's it. That's the end of this video. I'm done. The Hex story is finally completed. And I love the lore. The lore is better than a lot of the lore of the past. It's not better than the old war. It's not better than the War Within. But it's, to me, the lore itself is better than the new war. Even though the new war story and the animation was better to me. But the lore has improved vastly since the War Within times, with regards to what the hell's going on. Yep, that's it. That's it for this video.